The hearing of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee is hereby called to order. Morning, everyone. We'd like again to acknowledge the senators present, Senator Bam Aquino, Senator Tito Soto. Good morning, sirs. Also the resource persons who are here. From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the Commissioner herself, Attorney Kim Jacinto Henares. Ma'am, good morning. The Bangko Sentral, represented by Deputy Governor Nestor Espinilla Jr. Good morning, sir. The AMLC, represented by Commissioner Manny Dook. Are you around? Yes, there you are, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. The Securities and Exchange Commission, which is also a member of the AMLC, Teresita Herbosa, is represented by Commissioner Manuel Gaite. Good morning, sir. Of course, Attorney Julia Bacay Abad, of the Executive Director of the AMLC, yes. PAGCOR, represented by its President, Mr. Eugene Malalastas. Morning, sir. The PAGCOR representative of MIDAS.
Morning,
yes,
sir.
Mr. Ray de Guzman.
Morning, sir.
From RCBC, the President and CEO, Mr. Lorenzo Tan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
The EVP and the head of the Treasury Group, Mr. Raul Victor B. Tan. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
The head of the Legal and Regulatory Affairs, Attorney Maria Celia Estavillo. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Raymart Barbella, Mr. Romaldo Agarado, and Pinky Makaalay of RCBC. Good morning, everyone. PNB, represented by Ms. Alice Cordero. Good morning, ma'am. BDO, represented by Attorney Alvin Go, the Chief Legal Counsel of BDO, and Ms. Rebecca Torres, the Chief Compliance. Yes, good morning. Thank you for coming. East-West, represented by Ms. Bernadette Ratcliffe, the Chief Compliance Officer. Morning. And Attorney Lourdes A. Ona, Corsec. Am I correct?
I'm the head of Legal Services Division.
The head of the Legal Services Division. Good morning. Yes.
Good morning,
Okay.
sir.
Mr. William Go. Morning. Thank you for your patience. You've been here present at all hearings. Mr. Kam Sin Wong. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Soler, represented by Attorney Benitan. Are you around?
Morning, sir.
Yes, yes. Good morning. The representative of Sun City Group, Junket Soler Resort of Sun City Group, Junket Soler Resort and Casino, Attorney Francis Aguilar.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yeah, good morning. Mr. Lai Fong Chan, the representative of the Gold Moon Junket, represented by Attorney Eduardo Escaña.
Good morning, sir.
Then we have MIDAS, represented by Attorney Katrina Nepomuceno.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. The City of Dreams, represented by Mr. Adrian Au and Attorney Jomini Nazareno. Are you around?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Angela Torres, ma'am, are you around? Hi, hello, good morning. And Grepa Life, Mr. Lauren Anthony Escobar. Yes, good morning. Okay. We'd also like to acknowledge the presence of His Excellency Ambassador John Gomez of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Good morning, sir. And the Deputy General, the Deputy General Manager of Bangladesh Bank, Mr. Zakir Hossain. Good morning, sir. The Director of Bangladesh Bank, Mr. Abdur Rab. Good morning, sir. Okay. First off, some administrative matters.
Ito na lang yung wala pa. Pero okay na to.
Yan. Ito na lang. Okay, from Attorney Francis Aguilar, we still awaiting a formal report on how much was received and how much was paid in the junket relative to the 903 million that was allegedly received by the Sun City Group junket. This is requested by Senator Bam Aquino. We're still awaiting.
Your Honor, we received the documents that we requested from Soler yesterday, Your Honor. Sun City is asking for 1 week to complete its report, Your Honor.
All right, then. I have your commitment for 1 week.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you. At this point, we'd like to recognize Senator Tito Soto. Senator Soto, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to thank you for this continued hearing, but I suppose we're getting towards what we need in the proposed amendments to the anti-money laundering law that I'm sure you'll be proposing in the next Congress. But I just want to tie up some loose ends, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind.
Please proceed.
Thank you. To the AMLAC, Ms. Abad, just one clarification. In your, I was looking over the transcript of the committee, and this was in the first day of the hearings. You said that the AMLAC first learned about this thing in February 11, and it was a Thursday, and then the governor of the Central Bank of Bangladesh called our own governor, Governor Tetanko Jr., seeking assistance to trace and possibly freeze the funds that have been stolen from Bangladesh Bank. That was your statement. And then upon receiving such call from the governor of Bangladesh, we immediately got in touch with the concerned bank, which is the RCBC. Did the governor of Bangladesh, the Central Bank of Bangladesh, say it was the RCBC immediately? It was contained in the report?
Yes, Your Honor.
I see. All right. It was not clear during that time. I just wanted to clarify that. So let me proceed to questions to, again, to tie up some loose ends also to the RCBC. May we ask perhaps Attorney Estabilio?
Morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Can you tell us how, was there a request or requests? I am told there were a number of requests from a freeze, order of freeze for your bank that you received from the Bangladesh Bank directly, not from the Central Bank?
Yes, Your Honor. We received a total of 3 requests for freeze on February 9 and 1 request for freeze on February 10. If I may...
February 9, 1?
February 9, we received 3 requests for freeze. And on February 10, we received 1 request for freeze from Bank of Bangladesh.
There were four requests for freeze that you received from the Bangladesh Bank.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. How much of the funds was still in your bank, in the accounts of the RCBC, when you received these requests? as of February 9 and 10.
Yes, sir. May I do it on a per account basis to be clear, just so that I can answer that with the
Sure.
time and all?
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, we have a total of, for February 9, our bank received a total of 790 messages from SWIFT. Of these messages, 158 were in
790
790 messages on February 9. It
How
was
is
a
that
long
done?
weekend.
Email or computer
It's,
program?
it's like an email message, sir. And when we turned on our system, 790 messages entered because it was a long weekend prior to that. Of these messages, there are several that are high priority to us. One would be an MT-192. This is a request for cancellation or stop payment.
MT
192.
192.
We received one MT-192, and it was not from the Bank of Bangladesh on that day. We received 111 MT-199 for free format messages. This is like a chat, Your Honor. It's not an urgent message.
How
like
many 199?
199 is 111. These are authenticated free format messages. These are not stop payment messages. They were 111. The Bank of Bangladesh did not send any of those. What they did send, sir, were MT-999. These are unauthenticated free format messages, and we received 47. The messages sent by the Bank of Bangladesh were of normal priority, and they were not stop payment messages. So when we received 790 messages, our officers proceeded to read the emails sequentially, unless we had a stop payment, which is the first that we would read, or a high priority message, none of which applied to the Bank of Bangladesh. On February 9, the first message came from the Bank of Bangladesh and was received by our settlements department and read at 11:19 in the morning. It was sent to the branch. And this was, the message reads, Your Honor, this pertained to the Vergara account. And the message is a priority.
Vergara.
Yes, normal priority message, MT-999, or free format message. And it reads, reference to the Vergara account, please be informed that this is a doubtful transaction. You are requested to stop the payment. And if you already made payment, then freeze the account of the beneficiary for proper investigation. We think the transaction is contradictory with the AML law, with the anti-money laundering law. There are some words that
Again,
follow.
just to educate some of us who are
Yes, Your
listening.
Honor.
Again, what is an MT-199?
An MT-199 is just a free format message. It's like a chat, Your Honor. It's a regular message. It's not like a 192, which is a stop payment. So if our settlements department received 790 messages, it will look for the 192s first. That would be priority. And if there's anything tagged as high priority, it will then go to proceed with that. In the case of the Bank of Bangladesh, they did not send us any high priority message. They did not send us any stop payment order. They just sent us an unauthenticated free format message, or a 999, Your Honor. So the first one came in to our settlements department at 11:19, and it was sent to our branch immediately. That was for $19.95 million. I'm sorry,
Again,
sir, $25 million.
Vergara?
Ay, sorry, I'm getting confused. It's $20 million, Your Honor, yes.
20.
Yes.
The chairman was asking me if you're going to submit those reports to us, to the committee.
We can submit them, Your Honor.
If I may, with the indulgence. Yes, I have a copy of what you're saying.
Yes, Your Honor.
It says Swift input FIN 999. That's
Yes.
what you're referring
Yes,
to,
and-
right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. But it does say, you missed out. that
Yes.
There are words here. It says top,
Yes.
urgent, dot,
Yes, Your Honor.
top, urgent,
Yes,
dot,
Your Honor.
top, urgent.
That's in the narrative, Your Honor. It's not in the heading. It's just in the text of the body of the email. So, settlements department officer will just look at the headings, the subject of the email. Top urgent was not included.
So where's
It's a
the,
normal
where's
priority
the
email, Your
heading
Honor.
of the email here?
The heading is with respect to the numbers, sir. That's where it falls.
The NAFIN 999, is that all you look at?
No, that's the only thing that appears unless you open the message, Your Honor.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, there is a sender, and it's BBH.
Bangladesh Bank.
Yes, Bangladesh Bank.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you know, if you're familiar with the SWIFT system, then you would know this is the code for the Central Bank of Bangladesh.
But, Your Honor,
So, you know, you're receiving a request from a central bank, which is not every day.
Your Honor, the Bank of Bangladesh is not a correspondent bank of ours. So, there was nothing to indicate even that, in fact, we didn't know that they were the Central Bank of Bangladesh. We just thought they were
you know the
a
SWIFT
regular
codes.
bank.
You knew the SWIFT codes.
They're not our correspondent bank, sir. So, there was nothing that came out to indicate that it was from a government bank.
Regardless of whether they're your correspondent bank, the point is, by just looking at the SWIFT codes, because you are also
Yes.
privy to SWIFT codes, you would know that it's from a central bank.
No, Your Honor. Not on the basis of the email and not on the basis of the subject.
Governor Espinilla, is that correct? On the basis of the SWIFT codes, you would not be able to know whether a sender of a SWIFT code is a central bank or an ordinary bank? Would you know, sir?
I'm not familiar with
Who would be familiar with that? Who could answer my question aside from, of course, RCBC? Is there anyone here? And Governor Espinilla, who would be able to answer that question? The issue here is, just by looking at the SWIFT code, you would know that it's not an ordinary bank. You would know that it's a central bank.
the banks would probably know this, but I can also get information on this from our treasury people who actually deals with these SWIFT codes, Mr. Chairman.
Could we have a reply from you as soon as you could?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
At least
I will,
within the
Yes.
days. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
The SWIFT code, Your Honor, was MT999. So that's the unauthenticated free format message. So
I don't see the words empty. I see
FIN,
thin.
FIN 999. But
It's not
the
empty, it's FIN.
But SWIFT refers to it as MT999, Your Honor.
So
It's
now you
FIN.
know very well SWIFT codes.
Yes, Your Honor, we know
But
it.
you don't know whether this comes from a central bank.
Because the code does not indicate. And that's why there was no way for us to know. If it were 192, FIN 192, it would have jumped the queue.
And then-
the queue is relevant to us, Your Honor, because out of the 790 emails, number 98 was the Vergara recall. And I will correct the time. I made a mistake. It's 11:22 in the morning was when our settlements department read and sent to the branch the Vergara recall from the Bank of Bangladesh.
It says here message input reference 1709. That would be, what time is that? 5:09 in the afternoon.
Perhaps, sir, that is when they sent it, but I'm not sure about Bangladesh time. But our system received it at 9:15 in the morning, and because there was no high priority indication or an indication that it was a stop payment, it was just one of the 790 emails. There was no indication to read it ahead of the others, Your Honor.
So the fall in your system was not opening the messages and reading the text. That's what you're saying.
We read them sequentially, Your Honor, unless there is a reason to read them ahead, like high priority message or a 192, which is a stop payment. These did not apply in the Bangladesh request.
So
Your
again,
Honor.
what is a 999 according
It's
to you?
just a free format message. SWIFT describes it as generally a chat message. You can put detailed instructions there, anything.
Kung sa ordinary language, kwentuhan.
Parang kwentuhan, in a way. It's a message that captures everything that's not captured in the specific messages. But there is a specific message for a stop payment, and that's 192.
Governor Espinilla, could we have from the central bank a definitive categorization of this? What is a 999 and a 192? It's very Greek to us, but can we get, or you can tell us something right now.
Mr. Chairman, if you allow us, I'm bringing in an expert on these matters to be able to respond to you properly.
Good. He'll be here in...
Yes, in a few minutes, Mr. Chairman.
Good.
The
Thank
BSP
you.
is not too far away.
Thank
All
you. Senator Soto?
Yes, thank you. Going back to my question and your first portion of the answer.
Yes.
So, Vergara, 1122,
Yes.
magkano pa ang pera doon?
Before that, Your Honor, at 11:19, there was a withdrawal of $19.95 million. Then, 3 minutes later, the recall from Bangladesh arrived, and that actually there were no other withdrawals to transfer to the William Go account, actually. There were no other withdrawals after the recall. The next email from Bank of Bangladesh was number 103 in the 790 emails that we received. And we received it, our settlements department read it at 11:25 in the morning and sent it to the branch at that time. But at 10:24 in the morning, 15.216 million from the Vasquez account was transferred to another account. And after the recall...
Which account? Transferred to what?
I don't have the waiver, Your Honor, but I have requested PhilRem for their waiver, and they have refused to give me their waiver. So I'm unable to discuss details other than a transfer to another account, Your Honor. So at 11:25 in the morning, we received our recall from the Bank of Bangladesh, and at 11:34...
This is on February...
9, Your Honor.
Thank you.
At 11:34 in the morning, another withdrawal or transfer to the William Go account was made from the Vasquez account, and this is for $9.76 million, Your Honor. The third recall that we received on February 9 was at 11:30 in the morning, and this was number 108 in the 790 emails that we received on that day, and this pertained to the Lagrosas account. Prior to that, on February 5, at 3:16 in the afternoon, there was already a withdrawal, a transfer to the William Go account of $22.7 million. After the recall was received from the Bank of Bangladesh, an additional $7.23 million was withdrawn from the Lagrosas account and transferred to the William Go accounts at 11:35 in the morning. There was no recall from the Cruz account on February 9. The text of all three recalls are identical, as I read. They just said that the transaction was doubtful and they thought it was against anti-money laundering laws. On February 10, Your Honor, at 2:41 in the afternoon, we received our fourth recall from the Bank of Bangladesh, and this pertained to the Cruz account. The wording is different already, but it is still a 999, so it's just a free format, unauthenticated free format message. It's a normal priority transaction, although the narrative contains the word stop urgent, but it doesn't appear unless you open the email. And the words are, please be informed that this is a fraudulent transaction and unauthorized access in our SWIFT system. So you are requested to stop the payment, and if you have already made the payment, then freeze the account of beneficiary and please back the funds to the account number 210-83190. So, Your Honor, this is the only different one. We never received any other clarificatory messages from the Bank of Bangladesh for the other three accounts, clarifying why they thought the transaction was doubtful, because we had no idea. In fact, we were really in the dark when we received the first three messages, and things became a little clearer, but even then, not so, on February 10. That's all that we have from the Bank of Bangladesh, Your Honor, on the recalls. I've given you the flow on a per-account basis as well.
All right. We noticed the timing, 2 minutes, 3 minutes before.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
They received it. Now, all, if not most, well, most, if not all, were transferred to the William Go account.
$66 million, Your Honor.
So what did you do with the William Go account?
Your Honor, we did not freeze it. I have already said before that the bank is a private institution. We have the ability and the power to freeze accounts where funds enter, but not when the funds have already moved out. Banks do not have this authority, and neither do the regulators, Your Honor. The law and the regulations do not allow for us to freeze accounts as the funds move down. In fact, Your Honor, when we receive a freeze order, we also have to ask for clarification from our regulators if there are accounts which we believe should have been included. And we ask them, please advise us. We will put these accounts on hold. Please advise us if we should freeze. And if they tell us, no, please remove that, then we comply, Your Honor. So we, on our own, we do not have that power.
All right. To complete the picture, so what did you do?
So, Your Honor, we...
How did you respond
yes, Your Honor. We...
to the requests, the messages?
For the simple reason that the law prohibits me from discussing the filing of suspicious transactions reports, I cannot detail when and how we filed suspicious transactions reports for these accounts. But needless to say, we did receive a call from the AMLC saying that the government, that the Bank of Bangladesh, the governor had called them, and it was only then that we realized that it was the Central Bank of Bangladesh. And we did file all our reports in a timely manner, as we normally do, Your Honor.
At that time, or right after, when you already received these messages, did the bank already have an idea on the accounts being fictitious or fake?
No, Your Honor. We retrieved and pulled out the account opening forms on February 11, and it was around February 12 when we had an idea that the IDs were fictitious. Prior to that, we did not have any idea. So on February 9, we received 3 requests for freeze, or 3 requests by way of an unauthenticated free format message, which for us were confusing. We didn't understand why these transactions were doubtful or why they were thought to be against anti-money laundering laws. We had a little more clarity on February 10 when we received another normal priority message from the Bank of Bangladesh, and because they gave a different reason for the 4th account, we never had any clarificatory messages for any of the other 3 accounts. We never received any call from the Bank of Bangladesh. We only received further guidance from the AMLC. That's it, Your Honor.
My next question would probably, your answer would probably help us in crafting the amendments to the anti-money laundering law that we are contemplating on. What kind of request or message would have provided you with sufficient legal basis to immediately freeze these accounts, these accounts?
An immediate freeze, Your Honor, is really a court order. That's really what empowers every bank to freeze any account. But we would have held the funds.
In this case, it would have been too late, di ba?
It would have been too late if the freeze order came, because the money did
kung
move
court
fast.
order pa. So,
Yes.
what kind of powers do you need to be able to do that?
Perhaps the law should be amended to include some holding power for the banks, at least to clarify that these banks have holding power when we receive certain messages. In this case, Your Honor, if we received an MT-192, a FIN 192, request for cancellation, we could have acted on the message more promptly. And I also do have to refer back to a statement that I made earlier that Maya Deguito, when she received the first of these messages, rushed to expedite the withdrawals as well. And at the end of it, she said it's better for her to expedite, to process these withdrawals than to have herself and her family killed. So it's in that context that even if she received the freeze orders, she still continued to withdraw about 16 million afterwards.
Yun ang
In that
problema,
context,
because
yes.
the usual practice is kahit sa mga karaniwan na bangko, pagka medyo malaki yung transaksyon or cheque, tumatawag yung branch manager at tinatanong yung owner ng account kung in-issue niya ito. Ginagawa nila yun So in this case, it was not done in your branch.
No.
All right. I was looking through the records also. You earlier said that you determined that Mr. Who's this? Mr. Huico, his picture was used in the fake ID of Jesse Christopher Lagrosas. How did
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
determine this, attorney?
We did not know. We were trying to do a little police work ourselves, and we wanted to see who the identities, who these people were. And we interviewed him on a different matter on a meeting in his house that he organized on February 12. And when we saw him, we realized that the picture was his. If Your Honor will indulge, I actually had the pictures prepared. So this is Mr. Yuhiko in our 201 file, and this is Mr. Lagrosas in the IDs. So it's, to us, quite clear that he's one and the same. The pictures are quite blurred, but quite clear for him, actually.
All right. Thank you very much.
you, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, I have a number of questions for Phil Remy, so I will suspend my query at this point, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I haven't been informed that Phil Rem, they're on their way. Stuck in traffic lang daw, so they'll be here shortly. I do have some questions for RCBC. Yes, let's go back to the stop payment request.
Yes, sir.
But you do agree, had you opened the text, then you would have been sufficiently alarmed. It does say top urgent, then please be informed.
And yet, Your Honor, I also cannot deny that they used very vague terms. And I'm trying to think, based on the articles I have read, that perhaps it was also not clear to them what had happened on February 9, because it was not clear based on their email sent, doubtful. We have received many stop payment orders, Your Honor, but never anything as ambiguous as these messages.
But I don't see, let me read. We think the transaction is contradictory to the anti-money laundering law. I think that's clear enough.
But they should have just said outright, it is contradictory to the anti-money laundering laws because, and given their reasons, instead of an opinion that they express. And then they say that it's a doubtful transaction. And our thought was, why is it doubtful? We ourselves were not clear,
I
Your
think
Honor.
this is, well, anyway, let's not argue. But
Based on
let
our
me just-
experience,
Yes,
yes, Your Honor.
okay, fine. But let me read it so that the public can hear it. We think, this is Bangladesh telling RCBC and says, we think the transaction is contradictory with the anti-money laundering law. To me, that's pretty clear. I'm not a banker, but it's pretty clear.
And
Anyway, at any rate, okay. Senator Recto?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, just to follow up on this. Maybe we should ask the BSP governor or deputy governor in this case. What is the possible penalty of RCBC? What are the range of penalties?
For what, Mr. Chairman? For this
Yes.
situation? Well, there are several things that are applicable here, Mr. Chairman. With respect to the BSP's charter, our penalties are limited by law. That is 30,000 maximum per day and or per transaction. So that is assessed on a case-by-case basis, Mr. Chairman, depending on the circumstances of the situation. In addition to monetary penalties, the BSP, through the Monetary Board, can also impose what we call non-monetary sanctions, which is basically administrative disciplinary actions against persons responsible and also on the bank. But beyond that, under the anti-money laundering law, there are also provisions of law that may be applicable with respect to monetary penalties, Mr. Chairman.
So, Mr. Espinilla, with regard to penalties, it is possible that the penalty for RCBC is 30,000 pesos.
That's per day, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, still.
Yes, that's...
Mababa. So would you recommend to this committee that later on, aside from the charter of the BSP, but maybe in the AMLA law, that we increase the penalties also for banks
Yes, Mr.
who
Chairman.
may have been involved or may be involved in anti-money laundering? I mean, whether or not they knew, if the bank's protocol systems are not proper, then certain penalties should be established, significant, no? And then we read all these articles in other jurisdictions, particularly in the U.S. Penalties there range all the way up to billions of dollars. Is that correct? Could you provide the committee what other jurisdictions have, since we're talking about following international standards?
I think it is just applying the principle of proportionality here. I think there is certainly basis for the Senate and Congress to consider higher penalties than is currently under the
Yes.
law. And as I think Your Honor also mentioned about the pending request under the BSP Charter Amendment to increase the possible penalties that may be imposable by the BSP. So, and this is because the economy has grown and the transactions have grown. So I think there should be flexibility there. So
Could you provide specific recommendations in the future? You can think about it, what the penalty ranges should be, not only in the BSP Charter, I suppose, but in the AMLA law itself, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that could be part of the
Something
submission.
specific, because in the past, in all the recommendations of AMLA brought to Congress, mababa in the passive penalties. I remember having debates on this before, way back in 2001, insofar as penalties are concerned. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mababa pati yung recommendations, but now you could come back to us and make the specific recommendations.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. That
Okay.
we would do that.
Yeah, with the permission of
Mr.
the chair, just another item on civil forfeiture, because I think we left that in the last hearing, no? Meron ng perang inabot sa inyo, nasa AMLA na, or safekeeping with the BSP or AMLA. Okay? At yung tanong ngayon ay, apparently there was an acknowledgement receipt signed also by the ambassador of Bangladesh, if I'm not mistaken, if I correctly remember. No? Having said that, gaano katagal ba yung civil forfeiture cases? And who should be filing these civil forfeiture cases?
Mr. Chairman, may I defer to the AMLAC representative, Director Julie Bakayaban.
So that we can help guide the government of Bangladesh here also.
Yes, Mr. Abab, please apprise us of the latest developments with regard to this issue.
Your Honor, to answer the question of Senator Recto as to how do we file petition for civil forfeiture, well, a petition for civil forfeiture is filed in the name of the Republic of the Philippines, as represented by the AMLAC. As to how long it takes for the court to resolve a petition for civil forfeiture, it depends on the nature of the case filed before the courts. If it's just simple, let's say just one bank account involved in the petition, that it will not take long before the court can render.
No, in this case, the
judgment.
money is already with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
So there is no bank account. At least with the 4.6 million and the 38 million pesos, possibly the 107 million with Soler, di ba? If there are no oppositors, how long will that take?
It will not take that long. Probably we'll just comply with the procedural process, like the service of notice to the public probably by publication, and then of course if there are other known claimants to the property subject of petition, then we will also serve notices to those known or identified claimants.
In this case, meron bang claimant?
In this case, we have to implead the person who turned over the money because he has an interest in the money that is subject of the forfeiture. So we have to comply with the procedural requirements, Your Honor, on services of notices. And then, of course, the court would set the case for hearing, and we cannot tell how when the court would set the case for hearing. But under the rules, once the case is submitted for resolution, I mean, after all the parties have been heard and all the required pleadings are submitted and all pieces of evidence have been presented in court, then under the rule on civil forfeiture, the court has 30 days within which to render judgment from the time the case is submitted for resolution, Your Honor.
So kung walang oppositor, mabilis lang to.
If there's no oppositor, Your Honor, the case may be set for ex parte presentation of evidence, meaning the court will allow the AMLAC to present its evidence ex parte, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you for that. Okay. To PAGCOR, may I ask PAGCOR, dun sa mga linaro sa casino, may share ba ang PAGCOR dun? And so was part of the winnings, taxes, and all of that?
Yes, Your Honor. By way of...
Magkano naman ang kinita ng PAGCOR dun sa mga linaro?
For MIDAS, 15% of the GGR, meaning gross gaming revenue.
And how much was that?
Our branch manager for MIDAS maybe.
Yes.
So the average share of government from MIDAS junket operations is from the average of 35 to 50 million naman, sir. Of the
No,
15%.
I'm talking about this amount of money that was played in MIDAS, for example. How much did you make?
Sir, offhand, we cannot...
Why not? You are the regulator. You
No,
are in
because-
the treasury.
Yes, but
So magkano kinita?
it's all intermingled with other winnings of the junket operation.
No, ulitin natin ha. Magkano pumasok sa MIDAS? Eastern Hawaii, 1 billion, di ba? Let's say yung 450 hindi nalaro. Kasi bayad utang yun, if I'm not mistaken. 550 yung linaro. Magkano kinita niyo dun?
May I refer you to Attorney Kat? Can you give the details, please?
Your Honor, actually, for the whole month of February, what is actually declared to us by Eastern Hawaii is the total gross gaming revenue for that whole month. So we have to determine which portion of that gross gaming revenue actually pertains to the GAO playing account.
Until now, you've not determined that?
Your Honor, we've been looking at it for the whole week since Senator Bam raised that the last hearing. And we have to look at the player records.
So you've not done that yet?
We have done that, Your Honor.
But you don't have the answer yet?
We don't have the exact amount, Your Honor, because we don't want to give you a guesswork. So
How
we
long
want
will
to
it
give
take?
you the accurate.
Yes, yeah. How long will it take?
Your Honor, that is actually the same question that is actually being asked of us by the AMLAC. So we have asked PAGCOR to give us about 10 working days to look at it.
I have one question. Why is it LRWC is a private corporation?
It is a publicly listed corporation, Your
yes,
Honor.
it's private, publicly listed, right? Okay. But the regulator here and the operator is PAGCOR.
Your Honor, the junket operations are subcontracted to PIKI.
Who subcontracted it?
PAGCOR, sir.
Oh, tama. You are the operator and the regulator.
We operate the regular gaming tables, but for the junket tables...
Yes, but you subcontracted it. Kayo rin. Not
Yes, sir.
only that, you're not only the operator, but the regulator.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you mean to tell me, you don't know how much you made? You cannot
sir,
answer the question.
No, we do, but right now, with the
Well,
the
give me a
period in
ballpark
question...
What is the ballpark figure? What is that 15%? Because I will ask a follow-up question. What could that number be? We will not hold you accountable for that number. Na specific, yun na yung amount na yun. What could be that ballpark figure be? If you don't know how much you're making,
No.
approximately.
Approximately about, for that month alone, it's about 48 million.
So from this transaction,
That's the
roughly
15%.
48 million pesos.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So what is the disposition of PAGCOR here? Yan ba posibleng masaoli? I'm just wondering. Yan ba posibleng masaoli din? Are you thinking about it or not even thinking about it?
No,
I'm just
in fact,
curious.
we were asked by Senator Aquino last hearing, and we replied by saying that since we are under the office of the President, a directive from the President will allow us to return the amount.
Okay. So you will seek guidance from the office of the President kung posibleng isasaoli yun. Okay. Thank you for that.
Bangladesh Bank, Mr. Abdur Rab. Good morning, sir. Okay. First off, some administrative matters.
Ito na lang yung wala pa. Pero okay na to.
Yeah. Ito na lang. Okay, from Attorney Francis Aguilar, we still awaiting a formal report on how much was received and how much was paid in the junket relative to the 903 million that was allegedly received by the Sun City Group junket. This is requested by Senator Bam Aquino. We're still awaiting.
Your Honor, we received the documents that we requested from Soler yesterday, Your Honor. Sun City is asking for 1 week to complete its report, Your Honor.
All right then. I have your commitment for 1 week.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you. Wala na. Take note of commitment in 1 week. At this point, we'd like to recognize Senator Tito Soto. Senator Soto, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to thank you for this continued hearing, but I suppose we're getting towards what we need in the proposed amendments to the anti-money laundering law that you are, I'm sure.
The representative of Sun City Group, Junket Soler Resort, Sun City Group, Junket Soler Resort, and Casino, Attorney Francis Aguilar.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yeah, good morning. Mr. Lai Fong Chan, the representative of the Gold Moon Junket, represented by Attorney Eduardo Escaña.
Good morning, sir.
Then we have Midas, represented by Attorney Katrina Nepomuceno.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. The City of Dreams, represented by Mr. Adrian Au and Attorney Jomini Nazareno. Are you around?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Angela Torres, ma'am, are you around? Hi, hello, good morning. And Grepa Life, Mr. Lauren Anthony Escobar. Yes, good morning. Okay. We'd also like to acknowledge the presence of His Excellency Ambassador John Gomez of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Good morning, sir. And the Deputy General, the Deputy General Manager of Bangladesh Bank, Mr. Zakir Hossain. Good morning, sir. The Director of Bangladesh, Mr. Ray de Guzman.
Morning, sir.
From RCBC, the President and CEO, Mr. Lorenzo Tan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
The EVP and the Head of the Treasury Group, Mr. Raul Victor B. Tan. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
The Head of the Legal and Regulatory Affairs, Attorney Maria Celia Estavillo. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Raymart Barbella, Mr. Romaldo Agarado, and Pinky Makaalay of RCBC. Good morning, everyone. PNB, represented by Ms. Alice Cordero. Good morning, ma'am. BDO, represented by Attorney Alvin Go, the Chief Legal Counsel of BDO, and Ms. Rebecca Torres, the Chief Compliance. Yes, good morning. Thank you for coming. East-West, represented by Ms. Bernadette Ratcliffe, the Chief Compliance Officer. Morning. And Attorney Lourdes A. Ona, Corsec. Am I correct?
I'm the head of Legal Services Division.
The Head of the Legal Services Division. Good morning. Yes.
Good morning,
Okay.
sir.
Mr. William Go. Morning. Thank you for your patience. You've been here present at all hearings. Mr. Kamsin Wong. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Soler, represented by Attorney Benitan. Are you around?
Morning, sir.
Yes, yes. Good morning. The hearing of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee is hereby called to order. Morning, everyone. We'd like again to acknowledge the senators present, Senator Bam Aquino, Senator Tito Soto. Good morning, sirs. Also the resource persons who are here. From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the Commissioner herself, Attorney Kim Jacinto Henares. Ma'am, good morning. The Bangko Sentral, represented by Deputy Governor Nestor Espinilla Jr. Good morning, sir. The AMLC, represented by Commissioner Manny Dook. Are you around? Yes, there you are, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Yes. The Securities and Exchange Commission, which is also a member of the AMLC, Teresita Herbosa, is represented by Commissioner Manuel Gaite. Good morning, sir. Of course, Attorney Julia Bacay Abad, of the Executive Director of the AMLC. Yes. PAGCOR, represented by its President, Mr. Eugenio Eugene Malalastas. Morning, sir. The PAGCOR representative of MIDAS.
I'm sure you'll be proposing in the next Congress. But I just want to tie up some loose ends, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind.
Please proceed.
Thank you. To the AMLAC, Ms. Abad, just one clarification. In your, I was looking over the transcript of the committee, and this was in the first day of the hearings. You said that the AMLAC first learned about this thing in February 11, and it was a Thursday, and then the governor of the Central Bank of Bangladesh called our own governor, Governor Tetanco Jr., seeking assistance to trace and possibly freeze the funds that have been stolen from Bangladesh Bank. That was your statement. And then upon receiving such call from the governor of Bangladesh, we immediately got in touch with the concerned bank, which is the RCBC. Did the governor of Bangladesh, the Central Bank of Bangladesh, say it was the RCBC immediately? It was contained in the report?
Yes, Your Honor.
I see. All right. It was not clear during that time. I just wanted to clarify that. So let me proceed to questions to, again, to tie up some loose ends also to the RCBC. No? May we ask perhaps Attorney Estabilio?
Morning,
to,
sir.
Yes, good morning. Can you tell us how, was there a request or requests? I am told